Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve, my co-host is Pete.
Good evening.
This episode we are talking about the 2015 film Wildcard starring Jason Statham.
Or Statham, as my preemptive text likes to put on my note.
Oh, right.
Statham. So yeah, makes it two.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this film,
We are.
which was the second of our Statham ones after The Mechanic.
Yes.
Which was a remake, I believe.
And so is this, which I didn't know either. So
neither did I.
We're actually potentially doing a run of Statham remakes, if he's done any more. Yeah, so I looked into this a little bit more, because when we talked about this, it was the credentials of the writer and director.
Yes.
And some of the supporting cast that kind of put us in the direction of this film. So, one of probably the greatest screenwriters of all time, who's won 2 Oscars, William Goldman, who did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Princess Bride, Marathon, Misery, rumours that he did script doctoring on, what's it called? Good Will Hunting. And he's So, from a writing perspective, and we both write, and you think, wow, okay, this must be very good. So I looked into it a little bit more, and originally it was actually a novel that Goldman wrote called Heat. And it was then made into a film in 1986, starring, in my opinion, the greatest action star of all time, Burt Reynolds. Why is he laughing?
What?
Burt Reynolds is the ultimate leading man. Come on.
What? No.
Yes.
No. Why?
Did you? Have you ever seen him?
Cannonball Run, yeah.
Come on.
All of that stuff.
No, what's the... Hooper.
Hooper?
No. About the stunt man. Come on. You haven't seen Hooper.
No.
Oh, Steve. It's maybe the end.
I've not lived, have I?
No. Yeah.
So, William Goldman, amazing guy. So he's 84 years old.
I'm guessing that they didn't say, you know that script you wrote about your book, could you just do another version of it for this? I think they literally went print.
I think so, yeah.
Old script and went, here we go, right, we'll make this. That's my feeling, because it feels like a script that's slightly out of time.
30 years or more out of time, so, I would say. Yes,
I would agree. And so director-wise, again, not really known for... This is more of a... It is an action film in a way. We'll come on to that later. I get the feeling that some of the action sequences maybe were kind of tacked on a little bit to the story, but it's more of a thriller, I guess. But it's directed by Simon West, again, who we've talked about him in the past. Con Air, which we still haven't covered. The Mechanic, which we talked about last week. Expendables 2, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. So used to kind of big budget, or previously big budget. I think his films may be getting smaller budget, but big budget kind of action films. And the story behind this, basically, Statham spent 5 years trying to make this made. It was a passion project. He wanted to prove to people that his acting range was broader and he wasn't just hitting people. So Brian De Palma was actually originally supposed to direct this.
Wow. Okay.
And then when he dropped out, Statham was like, I'm never going to get this film made. And while on the set of The Mechanic, he said to Simon West, would you like to have a look at this script? Would you like to make it? So that's how it happened. And I read a thing with Simon West saying that, this did really stretch Jason Statham because it's quite a talky film.
Yes.
In The Mechanic, he estimates that he has 5 lines.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot.
Not a lot at all.
Oh. Okay, so let's talk about the story.
Yes.
Oh dear. The film opens really badly. Like, I nearly turned the film off. I was so annoyed and so just disliked it so much. So it starts with him essentially as a drunk in a bar coming onto this woman who blatantly has no interest in him. Yeah, so here's the first thing to know.
And she's one of the big stars. Because it's quite, not big stars, but there's a lot of relatively big names who are on screen for a very short amount of time.
Yes, so apologies for mispronouncing her name probably, but Sofia Vergara is a very big name in American TV. So this film was in 2015, it came out. So that suggests it was filmed in 2014.
Yeah,
is that reasonable?
Yeah. After she's done Chef and Hot Pursuit.
So she's one of the main stars of Modern Family that has been on television since 2009. So that's 5 years after, this has been going. She's been on one of the most popular TV shows, American comedy TV show. She's done like 160 plus episodes of Modern Family. So you can't say, she needed the money, or, she probably thought, right, it's a film role, it's something different, I get to be, and then she comes in and it's an awful role.
Yeah, but the weird thing is, because I'm in some of the other cast who are on, I get the feeling it was like we got lots of people that got very small parts. So rather than go for like B-list people, just to, actually we're going to go for people that are more well known with bigger acting chops, because like Anne Hesh is in this film. I didn't even realise until afterwards.
No,
she is,
me neither.
And Stanley Tucci has one scene. Jason Alexander has one scene in a scene that feels like a setup for someone who will be in the whole film.
Like Better Call Saul or something. Yeah. You just thought that's what it's going to be. Hope Davis as well. Yep. She has a couple of scenes, and so I understand that they've got these big names in almost to prop up Statham when he's trying to do a serious acting film. But if I was Sofia Vergara and they sent me the script and I read that first scene and I've got to be this character that basically is pulled between two men and is just, there's nothing there, I would just go, no thanks, I'll stick to making lots of money and be very popular on Modern Family, thanks.
I think with all of these, you just assume she's going to come back. So the opening scene it goes on for far too long as well as a cold.
Yeah,
as a cold open, you're like, okay, I don't like this guy that Statham's playing. He seems like a bit of a drunken dick. He's hitting this woman, he's being really unsavoury. But you just think, well, he can't be, because unless it's a really kind of noir, that can't be what our lead is about. So there's obviously more happening here. But yeah, it is. But you just get the feeling that setup in that scene really has no bearing on the rest of the film. It doesn't. No. You think, she's gonna, at some point she's going to come back. Or actually, when the girl's beaten up, I thought that was her. Until I went in the hospital, I thought, well, it must be her, because she's, so that's the weird thing.
That good guy has turned out to be a dick.
Exactly. But this film sets things up, and then instead of paying them off, does other things. And it does that throughout.
Mm-hmm. So the scene that goes on far too long at the beginning is basically he's pretending to be a drunk on purpose so that when the boyfriend turns up, he can defend her honour and convince her to go away with him and move to, I don't know where he's going. Where's he going? Somewhere else? Atlanta or something?
I think it's Atlanta.
And so he was pretending, and this guy paid him to do it. But the scene is far too long. He's far too rude, and it's just painful to watch. As you say, if we know nothing about this character, we just really don't like him. And then the guy beats him up, which is quite amusing. Yeah. And then drives off.
But I guess the only thing there I read the write-up on it, and the old version. It's about, say that he's this guy he's always helping people, and, now he's got this last chance thing. But I didn't get the sense he was helping people really. But I think what they were trying to do here was he turns down he's offered $1,000, isn't he? But he only takes 500. Yeah. And I don't know if that's in that kind of save the cat kind of way. It's like, well, look, he's not taking all the money. What's a nice man? He's not, there's a few things like that where he turns down things that he's been offered, and you think, But, yeah, I'm tempted to watch the original just to see how it compares. But I think if you put this in the 80s, it's very different. So the Dee Dee character, she's basically very shallow, and just, you're a tough guy, I will marry you. It does feel painfully dated.
Anyway, so that scene eventually ends. Then he goes into his office where we've got Jason Alexander, who's some kind of sleazy, cheap lawyer that you think is his partner, is going to do something, and he doesn't. No. He just kind of reads a couple of letters for people who've written to Nick asking for help.
Yep.
We should say Jason Statham's character's called Nick Wilde. Wild Card. Oh, so clever. And they're all asking him for help, and he turns them down because they all sound stupid. Then this young guy comes in the office and asks him for his help and to be shown around and to be his bodyguard.
Yeah. That's right. He asks him loads of questions.
Yeah.
About his background, and he kind of gives jokey answers, and And again, this character is set up here, and it carries on for a little bit, but he disappears then until the final act, where you are. It feels like I don't know what. Maybe it's in the editing of this film, but it feels like this character was supposed to be through the whole film, and he's at the start and at the end. At the end, you're going to have this whole weight of their kind of how they've bonded. But it's Anyway, we'll come on to that. But very odd, very odd.
Then Nick goes to the diner, and we see Anne Hesh, who's his friend, the waitress, and he has his grapefruit juice. Who has his grapefruit juice? I hate it when okay, they're trying to make characters different, and they're trying to give them quirks, but this one just smacked of. Oh, he's got to have a thing. He needs a thing. What would he do? He'd have juice, freshly squeezed. Yes, grapefruit juice, and it just annoyed me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
straight off, just like annoyed me.
I wonder if a lot of this is trying to I didn't get the sense that he was a gambler until the end. The write-up on IMDb says when a Las Vegas bodyguard. Well, it's not that obvious as Vegas. It doesn't really look like Vegas until near the end. With lethal skills, yes, that's true, and a gambling problem, which you only find out about 70 minutes in. Gets in trouble with the mob, which you also don't find out until about 70 minutes in, and he has one last play, and it's all or nothing. I think they're trying to say he's a guy, because you do later, he talks about he's got a gambling addiction, and he's kind of trapped. He's trapped in Vegas. He's trapped in this kind of, and I guess his go to the same diner, speak to the same person, order the same drink, go to the casino, go to the same table. He's got this kind of, and I guess his lot. Again, at the time, probably when it was written, having most of his friends are female, which was probably, again, paints him as a nice guy. But yeah, this is then when the film. Is it now that it just gets very dark?
Yeah, he goes to see his friend Holly, who's in hospital, isn't she?
Yeah,
she's at the house.
It goes to a scene in hospital where this woman's been beaten up. And they're trying to treat her, and she's going, Nick. Now, for me, the only way that pays off in a story is if that person has been seen previously. And that's why I assumed it was Dee Dee, the character from the bar, but it was just a person we've never seen calling his name. Then you think, everyone's going to think he did it. But nobody does.
No, because then he goes by her house.
Yeah.
And we find out that she was beaten and raped and dumped by some guy that basically picked her up when she was walking out of a hotel.
Yeah.
And she wants Nick to get revenge and find out who this guy is.
Well, she doesn't want revenge at this point. So
that's right.
Her big thing is she wants to sue him. And, I mean, I hate sort of sexual violence as motivation.
Women in refrigerators.
It was something that happened a lot in the 70s and exploitation stuff, and then in the 80s. I rewatched bits of Little Showdown in Tokyo the other day with Dolph Lundgren. No, I wasn't watching it with Dolph Lundgren, he was in it. I wish I was, in fact.
Oh, let's watch this.
But that film had a scene in it that I just went, oh no, really, please, no. Because it just, now, wasn't acceptable before, but particularly now, it just feels, it's really hackneyed, and it just suddenly made the film very different. And as well, kind of, she's a bit flirty with Nick, which I felt really uncomfortable with considering what she'd been through. And there's this horrible scene where she's sewing, which is all really kind of hackneyed kind of metaphors. Yeah, I found it, from here on, for probably the next half an hour, I found this film very uncomfortable.
Yeah, so then Nick goes to find out who this guy is. He speaks to his contact in the hotel who works in housekeeping.
Have the filthiest habits.
Yes, apparently. She says, I like you, but you're a filthy bugger, essentially. So he talks to his friend who works in housekeeping, and she tells him that the guy is connected to the mob, he's in a suite, this is the number, he's got two guys with him at all times, and he's connected up to some family, I don't know, in another city or something.
And again,
and he's come here to have some fun.
He's connected to this family. So behind him there's this family. So you assume this guy's going to be good at what he does and can sort out this guy, but at some point the family are going to get involved. Well, that doesn't happen. It's another one of these
not
things.
Really.
It sets up loads of things and then just just left. It's really weird. So he takes his client out, doesn't he, for the evening?
Yeah, Kinnick. They go gambling in Vegas. And now we know it's Vegas suddenly, because you get to see all the big casinos, you get to see the Strip, you see, you know, lots of the famous landmarks.
Right.
I've been to Vegas,
actually. Footage in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, they drive up and down the Strip a couple of times.
And he leaves the guy, doesn't he? He leaves the guy.
Well, they go to a quieter casino, and he's now at this point he realises that no one is actually after Kinnick. He was just doing it because he wanted to show off, or he was actually paranoid, and just says, look, you're quiet here, there's nothing going on, it's safe, you can gamble, have fun, I'm off.
And again,
and then he leaves.
This kind of setups that don't pay off. I don't know about you, my assumption was, that guy's dead now. Because he's been left, someone's going to get to him, or because he's been left, the repercussions of what Nick's going to do are going to come back on that guy. But no. He just disappears out of the film for 40 minutes.
Nope. Yeah. So then he goes. Then does he find out who the guy is, and then does he go and speak to him? I can't remember.
Let me see. I think he goes and sees.
Oh no, he goes and tells Holly, doesn't he?
Basically, because the housekeeper said to him, "Look, these people are really dangerous. If you go after them, you're going to be dead. So don't." So he lies to her. I think, says that the guy's left, or they can't find him, or something. And she can tell he's lying straight away.
Oh, they're on the phone. That's right, because she was doing the sewing thing, and then she tells them in graphic detail what they did to her.
There? No,
just that it's very, very nasty.
And then she's like, "I don't want to sue him. Actually, get the guy so I can, I can have his balls in my hand." Really. I think is what she says.
Probably like that. Yeah.
So this is. He goes to see the guy, and at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this film would really like to be something like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's set at Christmas, so it's that kind of thing. But he turns up in a Santa hat. I don't know why.
I thought he had something under the
ball's
hat.
Head.
Yeah, that's true, because the two henchmen search him, and then the boss, Danny DeMarco, who we should say is played by Milo Ventimiglia, says, "Did you check under the hat? Check under the hat." And he pulls off the hat, and I thought, it's a lethal weapon thing. There'll be a gun strapped to his head, or a knife. Nope, it's just a Santa hat. And I was like, so why did he do that?
To make himself like very easy cosplay. Hey, bald man in a jacket with a Santa hat on, what are you doing? I'm Nick Wilde. That's what I am. This is all a bit, again, it's that, when with the villains, there's a film, what's it called? It might be a Brian De Palma film, actually. It's got Nick Cage in it, and David Caruso, and Nick Cage is a villain, and he's very heavy set in it. He's got a goatee beard and a bald head. But I remember him, I'd say it's Nicolas Cage, so no real surprise, kind of hamming it up and overacting. But this felt like that, and I don't know about you, but it's from Heroes and Rocky Balboa, isn't he? He seemed to be channeling, at the same time in his voice, both Keanu Reeves and Rick from The Walking Dead.
Wow, okay. I just thought he sounded like a bit of a dick.
But it's that kind of, I'm a rich kid and I'm from the mob and I'm because of that I could be kind of quirky and I say stupid things. Very odd. And at this point, is this the first time that we get Nick's kind of dreaming of Corsica moment?
Yes, because he says, say something like, tell me that I'm a nice guy and you better convince me I'm going to kill you. And he closes his eyes and he's on a boat in Corsica. Yeah, and the guys are just watching him, and we're watching him with his eyes closed. I'm thinking, how long is this going to go on? And they're all just watching him like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what he's doing either. Yes.
And then we do get, the one thing I'll say about this film is the action scenes to me feel like, I don't know if you remember, On Deadly Ground, the Steven Seagal kind of mystical Native American film with Michael Caine. And I remember reading an interview with Seagal because he wrote it, I think, and directed it. And basically he'd written it. There were no fights in the film at all. And they were like, "Oh, Mr. Seagal, for your audience and for the people who are watching your films, they probably would like it." And so they added scenes in. That does sound like a bit of a myth, though. But with this, I don't know whether... I can't imagine some of these scenes in the novel and or in the original film. But there are some good fight scenes in this film. And he does this kind of slow-mo thing.
There are 3 highlights in the film, and they're all
probably the best
scenes.
Statham fight scenes I think I've seen, because they're really beautifully kind of choreographed and orchestrated, and mostly in slow-mo, and it's really kind of... But the slow-mo things feel like they're from a different film. Because this film is kind of slow-paced, it's not noir, but it kind of feels like it could be, and then it's... But
it's a great bit, because he shows them his ID for some reason, and I was like, what is that for? And then it comes into play.
Yeah.
I think what it is, it's like his idea, his credit card. He says, there's me, Nick Wilde, and he shows him his credit card. I'm thinking, what? What's he doing that for? And then when the guy, DeMarco, is just not playing ball and he's essentially going to kill him, it goes into slow-mo, and he cuts one guy over the eye with his credit card so it bleeds into his eye and he can't see what he's doing. He snaps the knee of the other, and then he flicks a card at DeMarco that ricochets him off the back, makes him stumble back and bang his head off the wall and knock himself out, doesn't he? And in 3 seconds, it's over. But it was such a good fight, but so quick.
It's good because they kind of hint at his kind of military background, but never quite say what it is, which is one of the things I quite like. And he is like a bodyguard / security advisor / kind of a weird kind of nebulous role. So, yeah.
Potentially ex-SAS because he lied to Kinnock. So what I thought at this point, I thought Nick was going to kill them all.
Yep.
Then the mob family was going to come after him because he's killed the son. And him and Holly are going to go on the run and have to fight the mob.
Kinnock is somewhere involved. All these things,
And he's actually higher up in the family and he's playing Nick. Or, to get close to him. And, I thought, it'll be quite... No, none of that happens at all.
Our heads is pretty much the same with each other.
So none of the really good stuff, none of the DD connection. She's out of the film now. And, never comes back. No more Sophia.
Holly has been to home base. And picked up a pair of secateurs.
Nick rings her and she comes to the suite. The 2 bodyguards are tied up back to back. One's covered in blood and the other one's sat with a broken knee. None of them say a word. Not, can I have some aspirin, or be unconscious, or nothing. They just sit there and watch. And so she essentially... Danny sat in a robe, DeMarco sat in a robe, and she puts the secateurs over his penis and makes him say what she had to say to him whilst he was...
Weird.
And then there again, she doesn't even go through with it. So basically she says to him, tell me that you love me, and if I'm not convinced, then you're going to lose it. And that's what he said to her previously. And he's crying, and he's weeping, and he starts threatening her, and then he realises that... Because he keeps looking at Nick, and I'm thinking, that's not good. That's not good. And eventually realises that he says, I'm just an observer. This is her game. This is her
I think what she's wanting to break him, because she does cut him slightly, which does come into play later in the story.
Times,
and then he just is a blubbering mess, isn't he? And offers him $50,000, and he's basically falling apart. And I think she just wanted him to break.
Yeah, but the bodyguards look like really embarrassed and sheepish. They don't want to be there. They've just seen their boss, start crying like a girl with a scuffed knee.
I have to say, in fairness, in his defence, I want to defend the horrible character, but I can kind of see why he'd be bothered.
Yeah, it's his favourite piece of equipment.
I have never heard anyone describe someone's penis as their favourite piece of equipment. That's true. That is true. I just thought that was your kind of way of saying your personal part.
No. He keeps saying he made Holly say things like, it's it's the best thing in the world, or it's God's gift, and she has to say that back to him at times during this whole repeat of her abuse. It's really twisted. So yes, she's threatening to cut it off with the secretaries. She nicks it a few times, and then in the end backs off, takes the money, and they walk out and leave them there.
Now between, he says she can have all the money, and she offers him half. Again, he's a gentleman, he'll take. But I think she says take it and then use it to get enough money to leave town.
Yeah, because she's spent the last couple of hours just packing up a house, and she's ready to leave.
He's kind of acknowledged that we've just threatened the son of the mob. They are coming for us. Yep. They are coming to kill us. Yep. So we both need to leave. So he's very aware of that himself. Yep.
And she's gone. She gets in the taxi, leaves, and that's it. She's out the film. Gone. And there again, the better version of the film in my head was that somehow they might get a hold of her again and threaten Nick when if he didn't come in, they'd kill her because he cares for her given what he's did. No, gone. She's out the film.
So Nick goes gambling in a scene that feels like, again, from another different film. This is a
totally different film.
It's a long, drawn-out scene. And again, I knew he was addicted to gambling because I read it on IMDb. I did not know from the hour I watched this film at this point. Which to me, again, William Goldman, I'm assuming his script and I'm assuming his novel would have planted, those seeds and built up that characterization. But here it's just like, right, this guy, this bodyguard, is suddenly gambling a lot. Oh, because he wants to leave town. Oh, and he also is starting to kind of freak out, and he can't really handle his drink, or can he? I thought at one point that he'd been poisoned or spiked, because he starts kind of spinning out.
Yeah.
And then I think that is supposed to signify his gambling addiction. Yep.
But Kinnick then turns up and starts watching him gamble. For no particular reason, he's just there again. And I just, as you say, it just felt like a totally different film.
Pacing is way off. Lots of scenes, all very different. Feels like a TV series rather than movie pacing or a sequel for a film that we never saw.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's an awful long, drawn-out scene where basically he gambles and gambles and gambles. Lady Luck, he keeps slapping his back and going, she's very heavy. Yeah, I've got to keep going.
The worst thing here as well
Yeah.
is that if you give a character a low point, then you need space before a high point. And if you give them a high point, you need space before a low point. But what they do here, they've had all this slow drawn out stuff, and they give these two plot points back to back really quickly. So he wins 600 grand. Yeah.
500 grand, because he keeps saying that's it.
That's enough for me
5
to be
years
out
or something.
So he's walking to the booth to cash his chips, and that's when he starts. He's collapsing. You think he's been poisoned, and then he just suddenly says, no, that's not enough. That's not enough money for life. Like, well, I think you probably could be if you're sensible. Be frugal.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know what I need? I need fuck you money, so that I'll never get chased. I can get so far in they'll never chase me. And so I'm assuming that this kind of him spinning out is actually because he cannot physically leave with the winnings, and that's why he's been living there for so long. He has to go and gamble again. Although, the house always wins. If you've got 600 grand, you are not going to leave there with, I think he wants to try and get 2.5 million.
It's really ridiculous. He has 500 grand, and then he puts the additional 20 grand that he had originally on in cash. And doesn't he bet it all on one hand or something? And I was like, well, surely if you've got any sense at all, even if you have to go back and gamble, you'd be like, okay, let's just do a bit at a time like he'd done to get up to that.
So in the space of one scene, really, he has showed us that he's a gambler, which we didn't really know. He's won the most money he's ever had, gone to leave, come back in, and lost it all. In a film that has been so drawn out, it's crazy pacing.
And he's drank a bottle, most of a bottle of vodka by the look of it, or something. No, and then he just goes into the bathroom and flips out and has a meltdown and then goes nuts.
Does he
fall unconscious, or does he bang his head?
And then he wakes up in his client's suite, which is quite an impressive, large suite. I know American hotel rooms are big anyway, but it's very nice. And then he's like, well, he put him to bed. He researched him. This is all a bit weird as well. It's like, I didn't come here not knowing you were. I knew you. I researched you because I needed you to teach me to be brave. I'm permanently afraid. You're not afraid of anything. I've come here to be brave.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. And you're like, well, who is
by
this
the way,
kid and why?
I was a multimillionaire by 18. Yeah.
Yeah, and call me Duke. That's the other thing. I was like, what? And then he keeps calling him Duke from there on. I'm just like, what? Is this the Dukes of Hazzard? Is this just, we've gone into that kind of, slapstick,
I put here that
ridiculous.
At this point, there was less than half an hour left of the film. It felt very, I don't know if you felt the same, but it felt like there's an awful lot of things that needed to happen to make this film have a satisfactory ending, but there wasn't very long left. And this relationship was basically just getting started between these two guys, their friendship. And probably about 20 minutes later than it should have happened.
Yeah, I was starting to lose interest.
Were you drawn back in by the second fight scene?
Yeah, so this is the second high point of the film. In the morning now, he's not really sober, he's hungover, he's pissed off, he's lost all the money. He tells the kid to go away, essentially. Walks out to the bar to have another drink, and now DeMarco has sent 10 guys after him, really, for what he's done, and Nick just takes them all apart.
It's an amazing fight
scene. It's a great fight scene. So it's in the middle of a casino. He's using the surroundings. He uses chips. He shoves in one guy's mouth. He uses an ashtray. He uses everything apart from a gun, which comes into play later on as well.
Is it the in-house security that kind of get there in the end, or the gun's out, and that's why he stops? So he does take it.
No, he's beaten all of the guys, and then he just stops, and then the security run up. And he's just stood there with 10 guys on the floor. And then the next day he goes to see the baby. Yeah.
No,
did he get a phone call or something?
Before.
Earlier.
Because it's how he got into DeMarco's room. They wouldn't let him in, and he said, I know baby, so they let him in. But I assumed that the security people took him that they'd taken him to baby, because it was baby's casino, I thought. He didn't actually see that.
I don't know, because I can't even remember. Does he get a phone call? I can't remember. But he goes to see baby, basically, because of what's happened.
It is Stanley Tucci.
It's Stanley Tucci. I was just like, what? Why? Why is he in this film? He's amazing. He's so good. Again, he's got one scene, and he does steal the scene, to be fair. So you get the idea that he is basically the ultimate Don of Vegas, and he wants to solve this problem. He doesn't want DeMarco's father and family coming out to Vegas to deal with it. Equally, he doesn't want to kill Nick because he likes Nick.
He's a bit like Andy Garcia in Ocean's 11.
Yeah. He's just this. He pretends to be a nice guy, but obviously he's blatantly not because he's a mob boss called Baby.
You can tell he doesn't really buy the story because the story they're spinning is that Nick broke in, took 50 grand, shot the two bodyguards dead, so they obviously were killed for laughing at him, or not laughing at him, not being very supportive.
Yep.
And you can tell he doesn't believe it, but it's like, and then DeMarco is there, which again, you just think is a little shit because, he was completely broken, they were still trying to do something about it, and he wants Baby to kill Nick. That's how he wants it dealt with, isn't it? It's like, no, I've told you what he did. He did it in your place, in your turf. You kill him, and then it's all dealt with. Yeah,
and so Nick, but Baby doesn't really believe him because he kind of looks at him and he says, right, I've heard your version. Nick, tell me what happened. Well, your version of events. And he goes, well, I don't use a gun. You know that wasn't me because I never use a gun. He says, oh, yeah, well, everyone uses a gun. He goes, Nick doesn't. Yeah. And it's just that little moment where straight away I thought, this isn't going to go well for DeMarco because he doesn't realise the kind of the bond and the fact that if Nick knows everybody knows Nick. They know what he does and doesn't do. And so then he comes up with a great way to prove what he said. But the best bit is he says, well, get him to take down his trousers and you'll see that he's got a cut on there. How would I know? And then he says, no. We're all grown ups here. Baby says, you and I will go in the other room. We'll both take down our trousers. He's like, I'm not doing that. And I was just laughing at that so much.
And then he just doesn't want to do that, so he leaves. They kind of just let him go, and that's that. Nick's free, never mind, leave it to that. And you think, okay. So at this point, I thought, well, this is setting up a big ending. So how long's left? It's gone like 30, 40 minutes? Pause. 14 minutes at this point left in the film, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So Nick goes to the diner, sees the waitress again, and he's saying goodbye to his client, isn't he, to let him go?
Yeah. Doesn't Kinnick give him a bunch of money and a painting?
Yeah, because he says, Nick, I think it's quite a nice moment. Nick admits basically, look, I'm trapped here, I'm never going to leave. I know I want to go to Corsica because you can see it.
In my dreams, but everyone else has seen.
Again, I'm hoping in the novel that the Corsica thing was woven in really nicely and there was some more to it than he'd maybe been there rather than he just saw an ad or... Can you advise me of that brochure, Corsica? Is that a nice place at this time? Yes, strange, bald, large man with a Santa hat. It is. It's a lovely...
Maybe that's what was in the hat. It was a brochure for Corsica.
Just beat him to death.
Or he just takes off the Santa hat and he's just got a brochure taped to his head.
Nice, just to remind me of stuff. Nice. So basically, Nick, as well as admitting his obsession with Corsica, he basically says, I'm trapped here. I'm a compulsive gambler. I will never leave. And he's like, well, I haven't got any money. He goes, here you go, here's 500 grand. And he goes, well, what about Corsica? So I'm thinking, 500 grand you could get to Corsica. I'm pretty sure, I've not been to Corsica, and I haven't costed it, and I haven't got a spreadsheet about it, but I'm guessing that 500 grand is enough to get to Corsica from probably anywhere on Earth.
I guess that, yeah.
So I can't do that. I can't go to Corsica. I can't live out my dream. Here you go, some tickets as well.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird. But then he goes, I'm being murdered. And he goes, when is that happening? And he goes, now.
Right now. What? And then DeMarco turns up with like 6 guys at the diner.
They didn't cast his dad, so it's just him. Yeah. And then this is, I guess, a nice... Again, had we seen the client for longer, /Duke/Cyrus, whatever he's called, if we'd seen him all the way through and his character arc was like, he's scared, and this next bit would be quite cool, but because it's only 10 minutes ago that he told us he was scared, really, he gets him on a chair, doesn't he, and starts singing to distract him.
Yeah, I just thought he'd gone mental.
I assume it's the Corsican national anthem.
It's something weird. But yeah, he gets on the counter, starts singing, everyone looks, when they look back, Nick's gone, and the back door's flapping in the breeze.
And then there's another amazing fight scene, which is but ludicrous as well. So they're all out in kind of the backyardy bit looking for him, and he's nowhere to be seen. And then we see Corsica. Or Corsa, as I put here. So he drifts
but they're saying basically you think he's got away. But the reason he comes down off the roof is that they say, right, he's gone. Okay, go in there, get that kid, kill him, squeeze him until he tells us where Nick is, and then go and find someone else, and then find his friends, and blah, blah, and you realise...
But he still doesn't use a gun. No. He uses a
spoon and a butter knife.
Yeah, fair play. The only thing missing, really, was one of those tomatoes that's actually ketchup.
Or a spork.
Or a spork, yes, that's true. Again, and this really shows off Jason Statham as a physical actor, because this scene it's very fast-paced, but it's breathtaking, really.
So he rolls off the roof and attacks these 6 men with a butter knife and a spoon. That's it. Some of them have got guns. I think one of them's even got a knife. And DeMarco's kind of hanging back to see how it goes with the other guys first, waiting for his opening.
Have you seen the poster? The poster for this film is actually him jumping with the butter knife in his hand.
Brilliant. So the fight scene is remarkable. It's just amazing. He absolutely just takes these 6 guys apart, just stabbing them with a knife and a spoon. And just, absolutely shreds them. And then DeMarco's left on his own, and then he has a go, and Nick finishes him off. And doesn't he put the knife under his chin, up into his head?
That's right.
And finishes him off, and it's like, oh, that's nasty. But, well, he was a dick, so I'm sure he deserved it. But that's such a good fight scene. But, that was probably the highlight of the film.
Yeah, well, those 3 fight scenes are just... Yeah, amazing, really. So he says he tells Cyrus he can't take the tickets. I have no idea why. When the multimillionaire offers you a holiday to the place of your dreams, I'm
off.
I'm
passport. I've gone.
So what have I got? I've got my spoon. I've got my butter knife. I've got my Santa hat. I'm good to go. But he's like, you earned the trip because I'm no longer a coward because of you, which didn't really need to be said, but he did say it, and he tells him not to go at the back.
Yeah.
And then he gets in his car, and he drives out. And then the poetic ending is he drives past the sign. He's actually left Vegas.
Yes. Thanks for coming. Leave again. Come again. It says or something, And that's it. And he leaves Vegas, and the film ends. Finn.
Yep. Finn.
So this film had a budget of £30 million. Not that big, it's actually quite a modest budget, really.
No, in the grand scheme, the cast would probably take a fair chunk of that. But yeah, for this kind of film, it's not a huge budget.
The box office.
It's that kind of mid-weight budget that you don't really get very often.
It's true, yeah. Anything from like 20 million up to I don't know, 40, 50 is kind of considered a small independent film almost now, which sounds ridiculous, and yet it's true. They just want bigger films with bigger budgets because they think they can get a bigger audience. So yes, 30 million's not that big. The box office for this was 6 million.
I think it was 6
Nope, 6 million. So it lost...
I didn't realise this even went to the... I didn't realise this had a cinema release.
It lost 24 million at the box office. That's, you might say, we'll get DVDs and blah, blah. Maybe. Yeah, might get...
But then, it was on Netflix very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah. That's how bad it did. 6 million. So poor. I'm not sure. So, do you want to do scores and then talk about other stuff to do with the film?
Yes. Okay.
Let's do the scores.
Shut up, you idiots. It's time to give a score. Do it. Do it now.
Who's going first?
Me. Okay, normally you go first.
Definitively, me. I'm going first. Me. If you don't let me go first, I will show you the cut of
my butter knife and my spoon. I've got one in each hand and a fork tucked to my head.
You go. You grouch.
So, the film started badly for me. Didn't enjoy it. Really attempted to turn it off. If we hadn't have been doing it for this podcast, I would have stopped the film. I would have just gone, or I was at one point tempted to ring you and say, can we pick another film? And just say we couldn't get a hold of this one.
I got about half an hour in and thought, okay. I was thinking, I wonder if you'll watch it all.
I think would Pete mind if I changed it? We can just say, we decided not, no, I thought, no, we've already announced it. Anyway, so.
Contractually,
once we said it, someone kept us to it. So I persisted. I watched this film I think in 3 sittings, which is rare for me as well. If I sit down and watch a film, I like to watch it all in one go because I want to get into the film. I want to get, understand the characters and, soak up the atmosphere of the film. This film had no atmosphere. It was wafer thin. Based on a novel, based on a story by, William Goldman. Maybe the book's great. Maybe the Burt Reynolds version is good. This was not. 3 high points were the fight scenes, which Statham excels at. This wasn't an action film, really. It was a kind of noir, dribbling, vignette, anecdotal tour of Las Vegas.
I wish it was called that. Noir, what was it? Noir, dribbling...
Anecdotal tour.
Anecdotal tour of Vegas.
Yeah, vignettes of Vegas. It just... So, I felt that even the actors that were amazing that came in and did their one scenes, they could have just got anybody in. If it was me and I was Stanley Tucci, I would have just gone, no thanks, I'd rather not. I wouldn't want to sully my name with this film. So you can probably guess where I'm going with this. I'm going to give it one bag. And the only reason I can't give it any half bags, because we don't do those. I would have otherwise given it none. Have we ever given it a 0 score? Is that allowed?
No, I don't know. They're your rules.
Well, no, okay. So, one bag. That's it. That's all it gets from me. And even that is grudging.
Oh, gosh. I don't know what to go for that.
What's left to say?
This is the best film we've ever covered. I loved it. I just bought a copy. No, I have a much lower threshold for stuff than you, which we've established over many years. I would say there's a very good film hiding under this film somewhere else, which could have been Kiss Kiss Bang Bang meets John Wick. You know, because those 3 fight scenes are on a par with anything from John Wick. But they are 3 almost random moments in this film. The pacing is really bad. There's a couple of goofs I just saw on IMDb which suggests to me that there was quite a heavy edit process where maybe things are moved around quite a bit, which would explain why it's quite disjointed. Yeah. I think the ending is quite good, but you never get enough build-up to really care. I think it's admirable that Statham's trying to stretch his acting, but he doesn't really stretch his acting, to be honest. All he does is remind you that he's very good at fighting. And, yeah, the characters being in so few scenes and no real link, which could have been like a noir-y thing, but it just wasn't. So I'm going to give it 2 bags, and I'm going to give 1 for turning up and for the intent, and I'm going to give a 2nd bag for those 3 fights.
Okay.
But that is the lowest, I think, ever combined score.
Really? Well, yeah.
I think so. For the 2 and a 1, I think. I would have to look back, or get our intern to look back.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. It was an appalling film. That's all I can say about it. I thought, is it me? And I read around and looked at some reviews, and they've said he's really good in the fight scenes. Is basically what a lot of the reviews I saw said. I thought, oh, okay, right. It's not just me then. Really awful. Really, really disappointing.
There's someone here, I gave this film 6 out of 10 only because of the fight scenes. That's quite a lot to give.
A film for 3 fight scenes that are really short, but the last one's like...
It does make me laugh, though, when people haven't read up on something. It's like the writers managed to create this script for the movie in just a couple of hours. Yeah, no, it was actually William Goldman.
And he did it many years ago.
Years ago, and I'm sure I am interested in seeing the other film. I'm so crap at getting time to read that I wouldn't be able to read the novel, but I potentially would watch. Well, we should do a Reynolds tribute.
Maybe.
That's what we should do.
You know, so I saw Parker because it was on television one time. Parker's awful, right? Parker's better than this. So, that's where we're going.
See, I can't watch Parker because I think I said this last time. I'm just such a big fan of the Darwin Cook adaptations of the books, and I would love to. And I quite like Payback, and I like Point Blank. I would love to see a proper Parker film done as a period piece.
So, have you seen Wild Card? And what did you think? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? How many bags would you give it? Okay, so that's it for this episode. But yes, get in touch with us. We're on Twitter at Bags of Action. We're on Facebook. Come and join the group and join in discussions. Post your ideas there. Or you can email us at bagsofaction@gmail.com.
It's all true.
You have been listening to Bags of Action. You'd better stick around for the next episode, because if you're lying, I'll be back.